What up, everybody? InstructaBeats back again here with another awesome math lesson. Today, we're going to be taking another look at parallel lines and transversals and using our knowledge to find missing angles. But first, let's check out this guiding question. Our guiding question today, yes, that's awesome spin editing. If this angle right here is 50 degrees, what is the measure of angle Y? So last lesson we talked a lot about what a transversal was. We talked about corresponding angles, supplementary angles.
Wow.
And today we're going to use that information to help us find some of the angles when given one of the angles, okay? So this is going to be a pretty quick lesson, but here are 3 things that you need to know that you actually already know that will help you do this. So things you need to know. And the first one we actually talked about last lesson, right? Which is a circle is 360 degrees. So if you split a circle up into 360 pieces, each of those would be 1/360th, which is 1 degree. So a full circle is 360 degrees. The next thing you need to remember is our corresponding angles, right? We learned those last lesson with our math bag of science. The third thing you need to know is our vertical or opposite angles. Okay, we learned that last lesson. And then the fourth thing, I think I said 3, I lied to you. The fourth thing is our supplementary angles. And if you go back all the way to about 3 lessons ago, we learned that supplementary angles are 2 angles that equal half of a circle or 180 degrees. So using those 4 things, let's So we took it to the whiteboard, right? InstructaBeats style. So here we have our parallel lines, we have our transversal going across, and today our guiding question was, if we know one of these, so let's say we know this is 130 degrees, right? How do we use that information to figure out another angle or all the other angles? And so just using this 130 degrees, we can figure out all 4 of these angles right here, which then we can use those corresponding angles down here, which we learned about last lesson, to figure out all of them, okay? So if we have 130 degrees, let me label all the other angles. All right, so here we have angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And right over here, we're going to write down what that angle is when we know. So we already know angle 2, right? Angle 2 is 130 degrees. So we'll go ahead and put that right there, okay? So if I look at this, I know angle 2 and angle 3 are vertical angles, right? They're opposite angles, okay? And so I know that angle 3 also needs to be 130 degrees. So angle 3 is going to be 130 degrees, and again, I know that because they're vertical angles. So now if I look at angle 2 and angle 1, I see right here that these are supplementary angles, right? They're going to add up to 180 degrees because it is half of a circle. Going back to the things we need to know, a circle is 360 degrees, so half of that would be 180. And so 130 plus 50 is going to give me 180. So I know angle 1 is going to have to be 50 degrees. And angle 1 and angle 4 right here are vertical angles. They're opposite of each other. So angle 4 is also going to have to be 50 degrees. So if I add all of that up, 50 plus 130 is 180. 180 plus 180, it gives me a total of 360. Which is great because those 4 angles form a circle. Now I can use those to come down and find my corresponding angles, right? So I know, just like last lesson, angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding with each other, right? They're in the same spot as that transversal crosses those parallel lines. So angle 6 is going to have to be 130 degrees. And I know angle 7 is going to be a vertical angle with angle 6, which again is going to be 130 degrees. And then I could do my supplementary angles again, but I know that angle 1 and angle 5 correspond with each other. So angle 5 is going to have to be 50 degrees as well. And angle 8 is going to be 50 degrees because it's vertical with angle 5. If you need proof of that, go back and check out our first lesson about angles that are found with parallel lines in transversals. So those are the skills you need. Let me go ahead and show you another question that you might see. So all I did right here is I just flipped the parallel lines up and down just to make it look a little bit different. But we still have our transversal, right? So these two are parallel. Doesn't matter that they're vertical. And we have our transversal right there. So you might see a question like this. If you know this angle is 37 degrees, what would angle X be? Now, there's a couple different ways to get there, but the best thing I think to do would be to figure out, okay, these are on opposite sides of the parallel lines, right? So which angle is going to correspond with angle X over here? And you can probably do this in your head already, but just to prove it to you, I will get out my math bag of science that I introduced last lesson, right? And so here I have my lines, and this is going to be angle X. And if I transpose that over here, right, put it exactly right there, I see, oh wait, this angle right here is going to correspond. So here's my corresponding angle for X, which means it's going to be equal to X. So if I find this one, I'm going to find that one. And so now you have a choice to make, right? And excuse my terrible handwriting on the whiteboard, but I'm a teacher, so teachers have bad handwriting, right? Is 37 and X right here, are those corresponding angles? And the answer is no, obviously, right? They're not in the same spot. We already know that this X corresponds with that X, so it's not corresponding. Are they vertical, right? Is 37 across from the X, right? Across that intersection. Are they opposite of each other? And the answer again would be no, right? And that would have been great because then they would have been the exact same. But I do see that these are supplementary, which means they are on the same line right here, half of a circle, which would be 180 degrees. So corresponding vertical would have been great because then they would have been equivalent. For supplementary, all we have to do is just do a little bit of math, right? So X plus 37 is going to give you a total of 180 degrees. So all we have to use is do our fact family knowledge and do 180 minus 37, right? Using my fact family knowledge right there because addition, subtraction are inverse operations of each other. And I see that this angle is going to have to be 143 degrees, right? So X is going to be 143 degrees over here, which means this one's going to have to be 143, right? Because these angles right here were corresponding. So I use my supplementary knowledge over here to help me figure out my missing angle, and then that just corresponded with the angle that I was actually looking for. So those are the type of questions you're going to have to try. Let's go back to our guiding question as our you try problem. All right, so if we go all the way back to the beginning of our video, we have our guiding question. And sorry, this should be 150. There we go. So we have 150 degrees here, and we want to know what y is. So this is going to be a you try problem. So what you're going to do in a second, you're going to pause the video. You're going to go and you're going to use all your notes and your knowledge that you learned, and you're going to try to solve this question. And then you can push play when you're ready to check your work, and hopefully you got it right. All right, so go ahead, pause it, try it, and push play when you're ready to check. Hopefully you just tried it out, all right? And if you didn't know how to do it, it's okay to fail as long as you learn from it. You can just watch and take the notes so you can get better at it. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out, okay, are these corresponding angles? And at this point, you can probably do this in your head, but I'm going to use my math bag of science. And I can see actually that this is not a very straight line, which is my fault. But my angle would be right there. And if I transpose that or move that over here, those are not going to be corresponding angles. But I do see that 150 would be right here because those would be corresponding. When I do that, this is actually pretty great, right? Because I'm always looking to use my corresponding, my vertical, or my supplementary. Now, we know they weren't corresponding. However, when I use my corresponding knowledge first, then I figured out that y is going to be vertical with the corresponding angle. So they're not really vertical angles right here, 115y, but it's vertical with this corresponding angle. So I can use that knowledge, which tells me y is going to have to be 150 degrees as well. Okay, so I didn't have to do any math for that one. I could just use my brain and my math bag of science. So hopefully got that one right. If not, it's okay to fail as long as you learn from it. Okay, you can always go back and rewatch the video. So thank you so much for checking us out today. We know there are lots of options online. We appreciate you spending your time with InstructaBeats. Please check out InstructaBeats.com for all your merchandise, video lessons, timers, worksheets, anything that you would need for a classroom. Again, thank you so much for spending your time with InstructaBeats. InstructaBeats out.